Okay, our social venture is Waste Not Wood, and our team members is I am Kevin Twill alongside Aditya Mandari. Nazrin Kaniz is not in the building right now. We're not really sure where she is. And Catherine Sung, one of our team members, awesome on art and design. Just wants to thank her right now for all the awesome work she did for the presentation. So I'm going to start you off with a story about a friend of mine, Rosa. She's a 34-year-old Nicaraguan woman, a mother of two, living in Bromadero, Nicaragua. She cooks. She spends the majority of her time in this dimly lit, poorly ventilated kitchen, cooking with a primitive wood stove, as you can see in the square. This wood stove gives off particulates that are harmful for lungs and can produce respiratory diseases like asthma. She spends long hours in this kitchen and is subjected to these adverse conditions every day, all day. We wanted to find a product that could help her live a healthier and more prosperous life. A biogas digester, which uses the process of anaerobic digestion to change waste into methane, is an alternative renewable fuel source that can be implemented in these situations. I wanted to start off by talking about our team. A group of engineers at the University of Michigan 3 years ago formed under this ideal that they could use this product and develop this technology and refine it. And they actually visited Nicaragua and installed some of these digesters and talked to the people down there 2 summers ago. And out of that Blue Lab team, we formed this social venture team in January, and that's the team you're looking at today. We came up with some initial hypotheses that Nicaragua, because of our previous interactions with them, could be our entry point, and that the key selling point of our product is that it is environmentally friendly, and that it reduces deforestation, and that it is health conscious, and that it reduces these respiratory diseases caused by these primitive wood burning stoves. We also thought that our primary customer, because of the expense of the system, would be NGOs who would then provide them to the end users. We went out and talked to a lot of people to verify or nullify our hypothesis. We broke them up into 2 groups based on trends we found in our findings. Businesses like Sistema Via Bolsa, direct competitor, EnviroFit, indirect competitor, and Green Empowerment told us a lot of things about the importance of establishing key relationships within the host nation about our product. Strong community ties are key. That can either be done by having permanent employees in that country or having strong ties with partnerships like NGOs. We also saw that people respond to products that give them a positive economic impact. And in our case, that would be reducing the cost of fuel from either wood, LPG, or natural gas. The other group of people we talked to were groups like Atraves, a service group, and Blue Lab team, which we spawned from. They told us things that, like, the males in the households were the decision makers, both economically and they were the economic decision makers, and they decided on what the family would buy and purchase. We also saw that people respond to products that help their basic needs, like finding food and finding water. People in developing nations don't have these at their fingertips very readily, so that anything that could help these help them find food or water would be very necessary. So from that, we had to pivot. We had to change our target. Instead of NGOs, we had to target the end users directly. That is because we found that people don't value products that are given to them and that they have to pay for it, or else they're not going to put their 100% into making sure they work. And since we're going to have now target the end users, the head of the household is the one that's going to pay for it. And he doesn't really care that his wife is being put under these adverse health conditions inside the kitchen. So we had to find a way to target the husband and not the wife in these situations. And we saw that the fact that our product could provide more food and that it could save money for fuel instead of the healthy environmental concerns were the ways to market our product. And we also saw that our initial product, a design that used less water and a mixing design, would be prime because it has advantages over the competitors. And I'm going to hand it off to my partner, Adi, here for the rest.
Thanks, Kevin. So let's talk about the product. So this is a biogas digester. It's a half-bag design, and for those who don't know how this works, so the animal waste goes in on this side, it goes in to this half-bag chamber, there's the bag on top, which is basically made out of plastic. It's a very thick plastic bag. So the waste ferments over, say, overnight for like 12 hours, and out comes the gas. The gas can be used to power cooking stoves, or maybe biogas heaters, so that they can boil up water using that. And on this side, the slurry could also be used as organic fertilizer. Speaking of organic fertilizers, it increases food yield because this fertilizer can be used as fertilizer basically in farms, in agricultural lands. We also strive to improve the health of the society, mainly by reducing the risk of respiratory diseases in women of these in rural Nicaraguan communities. Also, our solution is environmentally sustainable since it cuts down the amount of particulates that are thrown into the air. It reduces air pollution, and we basically use the fertilizer as the slurry as fertilizer. So overall impact goal is to improve the quality of life. So let's look at our customer segment. What our product needs to function is cattle, which will give us the animal waste, and scarcity of water. Why? Because our product performs significantly much better than our competitors when it uses less water. It's designed so that it increases the efficiency when there's less water. So we decided to go with Nicaragua because it has less water. It's like it has just like 5.2 millimeters of rain, which is really low when during its driest months. And it also has fertilizer needs. Significant, as we can see that Nicaragua uses only 29.4 kilograms per hectare of fertilizer in arable land, as compared to US, which is like 171.2. So our basic customer segment are rural families in Nicaragua. So what's the value proposition that we have? We have an improved design, which uses less water as compared to other digesters on the market. We are still going with the half-bag design because it's cheaper. It takes roughly like 2 days to install a half-bag design because you need to dig up a hole and fill it up with cement and then install the digester basically. So it generates more jobs. Right now, and also it provides organic fertilizer as an output, which leads to food, of course, because you use the fertilizer in your farm to increase food yield. Okay, so this is basically us, and that's the customer. We can't directly reach the customer, so we need to partner up. We need to build strong relationships with our NGOs, who in turn would lead us to community leaders who will advertise our product to the customers. And currently, sitting in the University of Michigan, we need to research government subsidies that would help fund the customer's biogas digester he decides to buy it from us. Okay, let's see how the flow of money works. So we're currently applying for the P3 EPA grant, which is worth $90,000. We hope to get that grant based on this, basically. So the main thing that the Blue Lab team right now needs to do is using that money, we have to finalize our design and give it over to the manufacturer. The manufacturer gives it to the supplier, and now we come to the installation manager. He is the face of a Waste Not Wood. He's the direct person who interacts with the customer, and he's the guy who's responsible for procuring all the tools and resources necessary to install a digester. And this is how he's also responsible for following up with the customer, so that we have a good rapport with the community, basically. Yeah, so we basically, this is how we get the money. So we identify government subsidies, the customer gets the money from the subsidies, he gets it back, the installation manager installs the digester, and we basically get it back through the installation manager. We have several competitors, like there's other student groups who are working on biogas digesters. There's other NGOs in Nicaragua who are also working with these student groups, and private companies like Sistema Biogas and Biogas Nicaragua. Going forward, we're planning to apply for a non-profit status. We want to apply for a grant, which will give us our funding. We want to go to Nicaragua and see for ourselves what the conditions are, and to further test out our hypothesis that we have proposed so far. And attend several conferences. And finally, we want to optimize the production cost, and so that we can bring the cost further down for the ultimate customer.
Thank you.